Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, Dominica and Cuba embark upon a new journey of cooperation as the new Cuban ambassador presents his credentials to President Savre. Individuals who claim they were hurt or injured at a December 15 protest in Rose are beginning to come forward with a view to taking legal action against law enforcement. And the National HIV Response Team warning Dominicans to be responsible with their sexual health ahead of another major holiday. The details coming up.
Get ready to open the best gifts with Flow this Christmas. Sign up for a new broadband or TV service with free installation, or sign up for a broadband and TV bundle and get 40% off broadband for the first 2 months. Plus, get a chance to win a 55-inch smart TV, 1 year or 6 months of free service. Enjoy big-time entertainment and big speeds this Christmas with Flow. Terms and conditions apply. Visit discoverflow.co for more.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth or call 445-5001-275-5003 today.
With another festive season upon us, it is an ideal time to remind Dominicans to be responsible with their sexual health. Interim Coordinator of the National HIV/AIDS Response Program, Lester Guy, says at these times of year, the unit beefs up its sensitization campaign to help influence the sexual behavior of the public.
During the Independence celebrations, during the Christmas celebrations, during the Carnival celebration, we have booths set up at specific activities or events where we give what we call behavioral change communication information. So persons know how to properly use a condom, know where to access condoms, know how to have the conversation, know what to look for if you're with somebody and the person may be presenting with signs and symptoms of any STI.
Guy is sending a special call out to those who have never been tested to get on board with the program and know their status.
You can know your status, especially if you have never been tested. It's extremely important that you get tested to know your status, because you get to plan your future a lot better once you know. Some people have the general idea that if they don't know, not knowing is bliss. I don't think in that situation it is, because once you're HIV positive, eventually, if you're not being treated, you will get ill, and most likely you will experience, the passing over. So that is something that we are trying to encourage.
NAP's interim coordinator applauded the young people who turned out in the numbers for the various testing activities leading up to and following World AIDS Day.
I must commend the young persons especially. Quite a bit of young persons are getting tested. And what is good for us, because it means that for the next couple of years, they would have been aware of getting tested and getting the information, so looking to protect themselves a lot more. And for me is a milestone. Because if a youth are not coming out, that means they're not getting the information. And at least 70-75% of the persons who come get tested are young persons. So for us, that is a milestone that I must say I'm proud that I mentioned that it is happening.
How do you feel about the number of HIV positive?
On World AIDS Day, Guy reported that there were 15 new confirmed HIV cases in Dominica. General Secretary of the Dominica Hucksters Association is hoping to see a booming business in 2019, Andrea Louis reports.
The hawking or higgling business came to a standstill after Hurricane Maria, but slowly began getting back on its feet late 2017 and into a steady groove in 2018. General Secretary of the DHA, Cecil Joseph, says huckstering in 2018 was not without its challenges.
Now things have changed from that time, from what it was last year, and I can say that shipments are going, not in terms of the volumes that we are accustomed to or the volumes that we would like, but every week a number of boats are going to the northern islands, and occasionally we have something going off to Martinique. but we are looking at the future and we expect things to improve.
Before the hurricane, there were weekly shipments of 2 vessels going to Antigua, St. Kitts and St. Martin, with 3 boats heading for Guadeloupe. Another area in which Joseph would like to see an improvement is the variety and quantity of produce being shipped overseas.
So we have enough dashing, there is enough plantain, there is enough bananas. There is other root crop, they are not sufficient. I think yams are somewhat expensive, which is an indication that the volumes are not there. Tanias and sweet potatoes, the same thing applies. If you go to the market now, you'll see passion fruit, yes, but in the next 2 to 3 weeks, there may be no passion fruit. So it means that it's there, but it's going. We have some grapefruits now, thank God, but not exports of grapefruit are not in volumes. But we expect, though, that for next year, the trend continues, the production trend continues, then we will have larger volumes.
In addition to greater quantities of commodities exported, Joseph, while happy to have boats for shipping produce to overseas markets, hopes to see conditions on the vessels upgraded in 2019.
A number of individuals have sought medical certification as part of efforts to take legal action against law enforcement following a protest in Roseau on December 15 this year. That protest, organized by the Concerned Citizens Movement, was dispersed by police using tear gas. Protesters say they were seeking electoral reform, but the CCM itself has been described as a political organization, part and parcel of the United Workers' Party. The police used tear gas to disperse the crowd after calls to block the road by Atherton Martin, who was later arrested and charged with incitement. Attorney at Law Joshua Francis tells Channel 5 News a few individuals are seeking medical certification for injuries they claim they sustained at that protest. Francis says the action by the police on December 15 was deemed to be excessive. But the Minister for National Security said the UWP was deliberately trying to send out an ugly message to the international community that government was trying to suppress the people's rights. Both the National Security Minister and the Chief of Police said permission was not requested for that protest, making it unlawful. And while things may not have been so merry for staff and wards of the Respite Centre this Christmas, things may be brighter in the new year. Andrea Louis reports.
The Respite Centre in Chance, Portsmouth caters to special needs children in the north who require care and attention during the day. Operations at the centre, which commenced in 2016, were brought to an abrupt halt because of Hurricane Maria. Following the storm, 5 families took up residence at the centre. Numerous deadlines had been given as to when the families would evacuate the centre, but to date, the building is still being occupied, though by fewer people. Ainsworth Irish, who is president of the Parents Advocating for the Inclusion of Children with Disabilities in Society, PASSIS, says hopefully the centre will be able to resume its initial operations in January 2019.
2 families still occupy the building. It's sad because we had 2 dates to open. We wanted to open in September, we wanted to open in November, and because of the challenges, the center is still occupied by the persons who we rescued after the hurricane. So we're looking at maybe the first week in January. I went there last week, I had some discussions with the persons, and they still keep saying that they do not have a place to live. Obviously, we cannot put them on the street. I can tell you that, of course, the government of Dominica have assisted us tremendously in giving this subvention. And if they request that we have these people there, we cannot just throw them out. But the thing is that the parents have been complaining, they have been calling and really wanting to have the children back at the center.
The PASSIS president commended the families who have taken it upon themselves to move out of the center and suggested the other families should follow suit.
Some of the persons have empowered themselves. They went to Samaritan Purse and got their house rebuilt. They went different places. But you know, some people just have a kind of attitude that everything should be free. And I suspect, they do not have to pay for water, they do not have to pay for the utilities, electricity and what have you, so they just feel comfortable. I believe some of them can empower themselves and move because they have relatives, they have friends, that, persons have really got back on their feet. but that is the drawback.
Irish says one of the objectives of the center was to help parents of challenged children to gain employment. He lamented that this has not been possible with the respite center still being occupied as an emergency shelter.
For instance, there's a teacher who had a son at the center and now she cannot find a babysitter. So that teacher, I mean, how is she going to teach 30 children and every day when she has that sort of, so almost like a depression? Because, and even other persons who got jobs and were gainfully employed, now they had to leave the job and then stay home. Because if you have a child that is physically challenged and so on, and it becomes a challenge, you cannot leave the child unattended. And so that gives the parents a little bit of a, not latitude, but a little bit of time to, get other things done. And that is where it pains me, but I mean, what can you do? You cannot put the people on the street.
Prior to Hurricane Maria, there were 12 children and 8 employees at the respite center. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
You are watching Channel 5 News. We'll have more after the break.
Stay connected and share your favorite holiday moments with Flow. Get the Alcatel A1 for $199 when you activate an extra-large prepaid combo plan, or the Samsung J4 for just $399 with a large postpaid plan, and get free talk evenings and weekends. Plus, get free WhatsApp on large and extra-large prepaid combo plans and sign up for any new service for a chance to win cash or hampers every week. So make it Flow for everything mobile this Christmas. Terms and conditions apply. Visit discoverflow.co for more.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fenced pipe. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
The Republic of Cuba's new ambassador to Dominica presented his credentials to President Savre on Friday. Ambassador Fernandez replaces Juan Carlos Frometa de la Rosa, who served here for 4 years. Ambassador Frometa was recalled earlier this month.
Cuba shares with Dominica a common interest in the Caribbean region and a membership in ALBA, which gives us an scenario of opportunity for collaboration on various issues of mutual interest and advance the necessary and decisive unity of Latin America and the Caribbean. I am sure that they will continue that path, and in this sense I express my commitment to work in that direction. We appreciate the position of Dominica condemning the economic, financial and commercial blockade of the U.S. government against Cuba, expressed in its systematic vote in the General Assembly of the United Nations in favor of the Cuban resolution that demands its end. I confirm our invariable solidarity, the eternal gratitude of Cuba with its closest brothers, its equals in need and hope, for the look and the challenge of sharing the Caribbean that embrace us.
President Savre reassured the ambassador of Dominica's continued support for Cuba on the international stage.
Despite economic challenges posed by the unjustified 50-year-plus embargo imposed by the United States of America, Cuba has maintained a keen interest in the development and well-being of its Caribbean brothers and sisters. Your Excellency, our cooperation with your country in the regional and international arena can be counted upon. Dominica will continue to support Cuba in the international fora and continue to call for the lifting of the economic, commercial, and financial embargo imposed by the United States. I expect that Your Excellency will thoroughly familiarize yourself with Dominica and experience the natural beauty of our country and enjoy the warmth and hospitality of our friendly people.
In more news, in spite of Hurricane Maria, Dexia and the multipurpose pack houses have made great strides towards revitalizing the trade in fresh produce. Minister for Trade Ian Douglas made the disclosure in his Christmas Day message. He says he anticipates that with the completion of the new hotels next year, last year's figures could increase significantly. Douglas says there is good news from other aspects of his ministry, which is also responsible for energy.
The government has seen tremendous progress being made in the geothermal development program. This is one of the pillars upon which we intend to achieve the goal of being the first climate resilient country in the world. We thank all of our international partners who have helped us in this quest to date. We are now in a position to begin the construction of the power plant by the third quarter of 2019. With the commissioning of this plant, we will be in a position to benefit from clean, reliable, low-cost, renewable, high-quality energy supply in the future, which will benefit all sectors of productive activity in Dominica.
The National Employment Program also falls within his portfolio.
Under the National Employment Program called the NEP, we continue to create gainful employment for thousands of persons island-wide to date, which has strengthened the economy through expanded opportunities and increased production. We shall continue to be mindful and conscious of the vulnerable among us, and we will continue to reach out to them. At the constituency level, we shall continue to remain accessible to the people and to serve them sincerely. I want to thank my constituents of Portsmouth, which includes Dodan, Bourne, Chance, Zikak, Portsmouth Central, Glanvilla, including Georgetown and Picard, for their sterling support as we forge ahead with the development of the constituency.
And Speaker of the House of Assembly Alex Boyd Knights has sought to place in perspective some of the challenges faced by this nation leading up to and including Hurricane Maria. In her Christmas message, the Speaker of the House observed that not even Jesus was immune to a life of challenges. Speaker Knights makes the point that we all go through hard times, and it's how we cope during these hard times that ultimately define us.
Christmas of 2015, post-Erica, was not a happy time for most Dominicans. Some would say that the hardship caused by Erica was so severe that it crept right into Christmas of 2016. And what can we say about Christmas 2017? Other than that, it was a date on the calendar. That it was one of those Christmases where the birth of Christ's child finally was given the predominance it deserves in the absence of there being material things around. Prayers and services were conducted in most churches, but under the cover of tarpaulin. Not much Christmas cheer, but there was lots of hope around, and great faith and fervent prayers were offered that there would be better Christmases from henceforth. We shared as we learned to be a resilient and strong people, empathizing more than ever with that Christmas so very long ago.
The Speaker of the House emphasized that Christmas was more than the material things and encouraged Dominicans to show gratitude to God for all the mercies received this past year. To end the news, a look again at the headlines. Dominica and Cuba embark upon a new journey of cooperation as the new Cuban ambassador presents his credentials to President Savre. Individuals who claim they were hurt or injured at a December 15 protest in Roseau beginning to come forward with a view to taking legal action against law enforcement. And the National HIV Response Team warning Dominicans to be responsible with their sexual health ahead of another major holiday. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You may access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Have a great weekend.